Welcome into Empower America show. Michael, Keith, and Kevin. Said it right this time, baby. We got it down. And we're talking about BRICS. No, not the BRICS that you've seen and used years and years and as you were trying to climb the brick wall. We're talking about the BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China coming together to create a currency. And will it take over the U.S. dollar, boys? That's what we're talking about today. We want to make sure everybody's alive. Little Nerf style.
Hands up, don't shoot.
We got it out, baby. That was an air one, by the way. I shot a real one earlier. It was funny. But listen, this is a real thing. And you know what's crazy is Russia has been accumulating gold.
Yeah.
For a while now. Mm-hmm. I mean, they've been accumulating gold, and they've been saying, hey, and China too. Yeah. So it's almost like there was a plan. Yeah. It's like, so you're telling me there's a chance.
Yeah. That name is catchy. BRICS currency?
Well, I mean, it's something that's been used, guys, from the investment space for years anyway. It's talking about the BRIC countries. Yeah. Uh-huh. When they talk about the growth of the BRIC countries, they're talking about different stocks internationally that connected with the BRIC countries and different companies to buy that were investing heavily in those countries. There was a little while back where I actually did some commentating as I did nationally for CNBC, Fox, and Bloomberg, and I talked about years ago, some of the stocks that were involved in BRIC countries, right? Like Yum and Yum Brands and some others like KFCs and all these other things, right? These were exploding in some of these countries because they're up and coming. They had room to grow. Let me say it that way. But when you look at what's going on now, and they're in a place where they're not talking about these companies investing in the BRIC countries and there's opportunity for businesses to grow. They're actually talking about a currency.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Coming out with a currency, having a currency in competition with the U.S. dollar. And that's a big deal.
Well, it's inevitable because the U.S. has used the U.S. dollar to manipulate other countries since the beginning of time. And I'm thinking the countries are getting sick and tired of it.
Well, it has been. And, what happened years and years and years ago, we all remember back when it was like, hey, the gold standard, the gold was back. There was some type of intrinsic value backing up the currency. And so now what's happening is with this BRIC currency, they're putting an intrinsic value backing up this currency again. So they're saying, hey, we're going to use the value of gold, right, to then back up the value of this currency. It would be like saying, okay, based on the global supply of gold, how much we know exists today, supply and demand, and saying, okay, here's what the value is. And then we're going to say, based on that value, we're going to use it to back up this currency, and that's going to backstop the value of this currency. So it's not just paper money. It's not just a fiat currency.
Now, do they have this gold like in cold storage somewhere?
Yeah, they got it. I mean, this isn't like, that's the other thing, by the way, too. A lot of people are like, hey, I'm invested in gold, and if there's ever a run on the banks, I can get them to send me my gold. Have you ever seen funds and different things like that? A lot of times, when they send you your gold, if you actually read the fine print, it's kind of goes back to the old Columbo. But wait, there's more. You got to read the fine print, right? FINE for those that are lacking literate ability.
Yeah.
The fine print, real small. Yeah. What happens is when you read that fine print, you find out that a lot of these organizations that you were buying gold stock in, if you want your delivery shipped to you, they'll be like, we're going to send you an IOU on that one because we don't have enough gold to actually back up all the delivery necessary. A lot of these companies had 90, 95, 96% of actual physical gold storage that they were holding it for you. What this is going to be is they actually have gold in their possession backing it up.
I was reading a lot of that fine print when I was buying gold, and it says, I was like, man, look at all these fees for storage. It's like, what's the point of investing in gold if you're going to charge me all these fees every month to store the gold?
Well, it's a great way to say, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to sell you a cheeseburger, and then what you can do for a small fee is you can get your cheeseburger wrapped in a little box in garden, and then for another small fee, we'll put that in a bag, or if you like, if you're on the go and in the car, we'll just hand the cheeseburger to you through the window.
Yeah.
Which one would you prefer?
It's got to be expensive, too, having it mailed to your house.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Well, and so what's happened a lot of times, people would literally, they'd have their own lockers. BRICS was a company that was involved in storing gold for a long time. But I think the material point to this, and the question that a lot of people have, is what does this look like in relation to the reserve currency in the world? Right now, the U.S. dollar, as it stands, as we're shooting this show in July of 2023, the U.S. dollar is still used in 70 to 80% of the currency transactions around the world.
You're right.
We got some great friends that live in Monaco. They call it Monaco over there, but they live in Monaco. And, he's talking about the U.S. dollar is still used all over the globe. But as Russia and China are really taking the lead on this stuff, right, and they bring in India and some of these other countries that are probably going to join forces in a lot of ways, this is a real thing.
Yeah, I think it's a backlash because of the sanctions we put against Russia.
Absolutely.
Yeah, one way or another, it's going to eventually fall. But I think the natural evolution of money is not for backing of gold or anything. It's going to be digitized. It's going to be some type of cryptocurrency where you don't have to back it with anything. Like, the reason why the dollar's like currency doesn't have any value,
right,
is because they keep printing it. That's why it's not worth anything.
Exactly.
That's what causes inflation. So to fix all of that, the natural evolution of money is a cryptocurrency where you're not going to be printing, making more of it.
Yeah, it's going to be a set value. It's going
to be what gives it value is the people who want to have it instead of the gold.
Scarcity too.
Yeah. Scarcity. Well, and that's why, by the way, and this is for another conversation that we're going to have another time, but when you talk about the blockchain, that's the benefit of something. You always want to look at supply. How much is going to go out there in the market?
Yeah.
Right. And so what we know is there's a limited amount of gold in the world.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Right. Now, I think one of the benefits, I hate to say it this way, one of the benefits to America, if we can get our heads right.
That's a big
if. We talked about that in another show.
A little bit too much.
Too much, baby. Yeah. Actually, people that think straight running the country.
Yeah. Can't have that.
Can't have that. But if we can get our heads right, what would happen is we would say, you know what? America has actually, because of a lot of the left-wing policy, not been mined and not been utilizing its natural resources for years and years and years and years and years. Now, it's so important. So if we think about that, we are so rich in actually natural resources in this country if we just tap in. But if we can get some people that are thinking straight in the White House and in the government, I love what, who was it? Warren Buffett said one time. He said one of the best ways, and he's kind of got off the rails a little bit over the last couple of years too, but he said one of the best ways to fix our debt problem is if we're above 3% above GDP,
right,
all Congress and everybody else gets fired.
Yeah, I just saw that. Yeah,
I'm like, I'm all for that.
Right, I'm all for that, Warren Buffett, but they make the rules. They ain't voting on that.
I'm like, let me see. Should I vote? Okay, let me get this. Hey guys, we got a vote coming up, and if you vote for this one, you will lose your job.
It's just a matter
because
of time.
We can't get anything done.
Right.
But we are good at the slip and slide.
Yeah. Now, this BRICS currency, they're only going to use this when they're trading amongst those countries, right? The BRIC countries.
Well, yeah. So, at this stage in the game, they're only going to be using it when they trade amongst themselves. But what's going to eventually happen is there will be some type of an exchange, right, across the globe, because you're going to have these big countries, these big economies, utilizing this currency, and they could basically put a big stopgap on everybody else and say, hey, we're not trading unless we're able to use this currency.
Right.
Think of it like this. Think of it like being in a situation where you are owning, you're in a town and you got all the water in the town.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm not trading with anybody unless you trade the way I want to trade it.
Right.
Because you own all the product and source that people want anyway.
Yeah, got a monopoly on it.
Yeah. So they could technically do that if they wanted to. Now, America, again, if we get our act together and we start to mine our own resources, then we become seriously a massive power again, because we can self-sustain in a lot of ways.
They won't even dig for oil anymore.
Well, that's going to ruin the planet.
Well, but getting the batteries is okay. Cobalt and all this other stuff. The question is, I think that causes a lot of people to say politically, is there really an aim and a goal for people to ruin this country? And I can't, I don't know how you look at where the government has gone as of today and say you can't think that way, because it just makes sense. I mean, there's no way you can look at all the things that they've done and not say their mission was to ruin the country.
Yeah.
I don't know how else you can.
It would be common sense to mind your own oil so you're not dependent on Russia.
It'd be like saying, hey, here's what I'm going to do. We got water reserves at my family's house.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it over here to my enemy. I'm going to give it over here to my enemy. I'm going to get over here to my enemy. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, I know we got those reserves, and now we're way down to 25%.
Yeah.
I'm also going to give all the additional food in my pantry out. I'm going to sell my furniture.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, but it's going to be okay.
It's almost like 10% is going to the big guy.
Who is the big guy? It might be somebody we know. It might be somebody you know. All I'm saying is, when we take a look at this, guys, it is real. And this is where, we talked about a show before, How the Wealthy Do It. If you didn't watch that, go watch that, because it talks about your mindset, how you invest. When you take a look at what's happening here, this is important, and there are ways you can circumvent this. The key is getting yourself empowered. You got to learn how to think. You got to learn how to think for your own and yourself. You got to be able to pay attention along the way. It's not just about being swept down the river by any commentary or thoughts that people say. And you guys talk about it a lot on Conservative Twins, Patriot Twins. Like, people, in a lot of times, and we'll kind of end with this, but people don't know how to think today.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they do know how to think, but they don't want to. What are your thoughts on that?
Lazy. It's so easy just to turn on the TV and just believe whatever you hear.
Yeah.
It's so easy. I mean, they look great. They got makeup on. They got suits.
Yeah.
Man, I gotta
Guys put together.
Right.
Yeah, and people just
can't put your trust and faith in politicians. That's for damn sure.
You can't put your trust and faith.
Well,
in
even
the
a lot
media.
of the media, they're just reading the teleprompter.
Yeah. It's almost like we're in a matrix.
Yeah. Today we're going to talk about. Wait, line. Can you? You need to hit return on the prompter there, because I can't see what's next.
Right. They're talking about, don't worry about it. It's never going to happen with the BRICS.
Yeah. It ain't going to happen. It's like, we talking about Chicago bricks? What type of bricks should we refer to here? The brick oven? Pizza? Oh, sign me up for that, because I like bricks. I want to be like bricks. No, that's different. I'm sorry. All that to be said, pay attention, everybody. Don't make stupid decisions with your money. What's a stupid decision? You talk to your neighbor that's broker than you, and he gives you advice.
Yeah.
That's a stupid decision.
That's
Don't do
recipe for failure.
Yeah, recipe for failure, and that's a recipe. So on that note, second to last word, boy, what do you got to tell the people?
Man, just pay attention. Just pay attention, man.
Yeah.
Empower yourself.
Empower yourself. We got some great tools. EmpowerAmericashow.com. Listen, go learn and grow. Think outside the box. That way, as things change, you can be in a place where you can navigate and shift. Are we going to have to move? Absolutely. But move with knowledge.
Get out your comfort zone.
Get out your comfort zone. Do things you didn't do before. On that note, stay blessed, stay empowered, and if you're not empowered, get empowered, baby. Peace out.
Yeah, there you go.